Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho. I like to make stuff. Today we've got part 3 of our Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 model build 1/8 scale from DeAgostini. As mentioned in the past, that this is a huge model that I'm really looking forward to building, but without further ado, let's just jump right into it. First off, we've got the little information booklet. Kind of goes over glossary of what you can kind of expect, and also the history, it looks like, of the evolution of the Corolla leading up to the 86 FR cars in Toyota. You can see different models that they had here, including the Celicas, older Supras, the really iconic Supras are here. Going into Lexuses, you can see the LFA, the hypercar from Toyota, the GT86s, the collaboration with Subaru as well, the BRZ, the newer Supra that just came out, as well as the 2021 GR86, the Gazoo Racing 86. I always like these kind of flavor text booklets that they give with the model kit. And obviously the 2000 GT, an iconic Toyota, which are extremely rare even to see in person. I actually have visited the Toyota Museum in Japan, and that there is obviously one there too as well, but it's an awesome vehicle. These are relatively short. Obviously they're going to highlight the same stuff that we talked about before, the same extra parts that you can buy. Unfortunately, I'm not able to buy these because you have to order them directly from Japan's DeAgostini, unfortunately. And you do have a ordering menu here, but unfortunately, I'm not able to order them. This is actually a pretty thin packet from the first and second ones, so there's not too much to go over. It looks like they do a feature more on the 2000 GT about the engine. Get the details of the engine there. So if you're going to focus on that. So jumping right into it, this is actually a pretty thin booklet, but it looks like we're going right into the car parts after looking through the little information from the 2000 GT. We've got a tire. We've got the hubcap. It looks like the tire rim. It looks like almost like a half a rim, but I guess this is all it needs. It looks like we also have the head with the camshafts and some bolts. Pretty awesome parts, but let's take a look at the actual parts in the window besides looking at the booklet, information booklet about head assembly. Oh, it looks like we're actually putting on the valve cover too as well, which is great. That was from the last part. So what we have here too kind of goes into the dual overhead cam setup for the 86 and how dual overhead cams work, and the fuel injection cycle, it looks like right there. And actually it's really cool in the bottom portion. It has the different versions of overhead cams, single overhead cams, and then dual overhead cams, and how those actually function. That's actually pretty cool that they actually take the time to explain this stuff to you. Here's another layout of the parts that we're going to be messing around with today. And there are the parts. Now look at that wheel. That is gigantic. Let's put that in perspective. And let me grab this car that we had previously. The last part. Now again, this car, okay, this car is bigger than much bigger than a Hot Wheels, right? I mean, again, Hot Wheels are maybe a couple inches, right? Maybe like that size. This is actually much bigger than that. And then look at this wheel in comparison. That's absolutely a ridiculous size. Now, what's really cool is actually these parts are a little less complicated in the fact that it's it's just the wheel, right? And the rim, and building the rim, and then the head here. But it's still relatively substantial, right? It's not just small parts. As mentioned before, you can see that these are going up in price. I believe this one is right there, 1,890 yen, which is, the yen's pretty weak right now, so it kind of equates to $15 maybe, if that. But again, these are coming every week, so it does add up real quick. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this one cracked open and get the parts out. All right, we've got it opened up. Let's start taking a look, and we'll actually just start right in the middle. This tire is enormous. Let's get focused on that. RD207 steel. This is actually rubber. No, oh yeah, it's got some give. This is rubber. This is not plastic. It doesn't smell like a regular tire rubber. It's definitely a harder plasticky rubber. It's got a little bit of give. It definitely feels and looks like a rubber you would have, a tire you would have on a vehicle. It is Bridgestone. Wow. Wow, look at the details though, and just the naming on the edge of the tire. They have the tire size on here. I'm looking for it. This side actually has a little bit of a sharper look to it. And it's so funny, they only give you one tire in the set. So you're going to get 3 other tires in different sets. So obviously they're breaking it up. This is listed as 185, 70, 14. So 14-inch rim, by scale, obviously, right? That's really cool. I'm not too sure what this portion is. It looks like it's going to go on the head. Let's pull the part of the rim. Oh wow, this is not plastic. This is metal. This is aluminum. So it's like cast aluminum, or yeah, cast aluminum. This is machined aluminum. I don't know how I can tell you or show you that it's aluminum. I mean, that doesn't really, there it is. Can you hear this? Plastic doesn't make that noise. This is metal. This is a metal rim. God, the detailing on it is amazing. Look at the valve stem. Look at that. Do not want to break that off. It's cool to the touch in my hands. It's a back portion of the rim. Obviously, this is going to be metal too. Wow, that goes together just like that. There is a keyway on this too as well, so that you set it properly. They don't move. I'm curious if there are specific ones you're supposed to go in, because these castings are going to be really dependent on how it fits together. So you might have to just like pick and choose one that's going to fit the best, because I do see a little bit of imperfections that you could clean up. You really could clean up, but I mean, is it worth your time? You really just want to make sure that these screw holes match up with each other, so you can actually get the rims set properly. That actually doesn't look too bad, but this is going to be obviously for the ease of making sure that this goes on properly. I gotta look and see if these actually indicate if these are for what specific part of the tires. Is it just for the one you put on one of them, or is it just for like the passenger rear side or something like that? Here's a hubcap. Pull this out quick. Beautiful detailing on that hubcap. Got some more screws. Now these are labeled AM and BM. If you can see that or not. So there's specific screws. I would not be surprised if there are certain ones that are going to be just for the rim and just for the block, or sorry, the head. Pull this out too. Oh yeah, that head is actually, again, as well, cast metal. I don't know if this is a pewter or aluminum, but it is got weight on it. You can hear that. This is definitely got some weight. Look, but look at the detailing on the ports on the side. Obviously, a lot of these are going to be, you have to hook up an exhaust, an intake. Obviously, there's no valves or anything that, like, you're missing details around that. But you can see how detailed this head is. You can see where they're going to have, distributors coming off of it. How the injector is going here too as well. Obviously, it's missing valves, but yeah, I don't know if I would want to deal with something that delicate and tiny. But that's really cool that this is actually metal and hefty. It's got, if the head is this heavy, the vehicle is gonna be really heavy. Let's grab these camshafts. Camshaft with already the guides bolted on there. These are plastic, so you got to be kind of careful with plastic and aluminum parts together. 1 and 2, and we'll move this out the way. Okay, here are all the parts of the kit laid out, so let's go ahead and get started on assembly. In the booklet number 3, the first portion, it looks like it's got us putting the rim on the tire itself. Now I'm going to use Google Translate to get these translated to make sure I don't screw up anything. But it looks like there possibly is an orientation that we need to hit so that we don't screw up any screws. So it's what's really funny that looking over these directions, they give you the kind of the bolt patterns of getting the rim together, assembling the rim. But what's really funny is actually they go over in detail right here. Let me focus that. Make sure you align the rims together, but also do a kind of a cross pattern in order to tighten up the screws so you don't get any kind of lopsidedness inside just like a real car. That's what's pretty funny when it comes down to the rim installation and building the rim itself. So let's try that out. We'll start with the rim. One thing it did mention was making sure that you figure out what side you want outside, because it looks like this one is a little more faded, and I'd like that on the inside and then this on the outside of the vehicle. So I'll do my best to keep this in focus. There we go. So I want that. And also keep in mind how the Toyota is going to sit in here too as well. So the Toyota is going to sit right here in the middle, right? And I'd like to maybe even have this steel up top. So almost like drop it in like that. You got the Toyota right here, and you got the steel on top. That's the kind of orientation you kind of got to keep in mind. Pull that up for now. Flip it over. Get this back portion of the rim set. And for the rim, we're actually using the BM screws here. I'm actually not too sure what these signify. They look relatively the same from the AM ones, but I'm not going to argue with the instructions. Boom. That looks great. There was a guide pin, so I actually might adjust this because it looks like I need to rotate this if I want this steel to be on top when the car's sitting on the ground. Perfect. Exactly how I wanted it. Put that to the side now. Alright, moving on to the head and the camshafts. It does look like there are markings for left and right on them. Can you guys see that? In the instructions? See right there, right and left. And let's see if we can find and identify which one's right and left. Oh yeah, there it is right there. See that there? Right. It's on the right side. And left. Now the point to look at this too is the little top portion right here needs to align with the head top portion. So go ahead and do that. So here's our head. Zoom in a little bit. Here's our head. Here is the right one. And just plops down into right here. Sorry if I messed out. Let's just do it again. Now the problem is, from what I can tell, is that it is a, I would say, friction fit. Not really even. Just kind of stays in there. There's no satisfying snap or pop or anything. So these could fall out if you're not careful. Okay. Now this is the first time we're going to need something from another set. So let's grab our valve cover from the previous set. Got the head, I've got the valve cover. Now from the instructions here, zoom out a little bit. Mostly just plopping it on there, it looks like. But we are also using some screws, the AM screws, right here, on the back side, to secure the valve cover to the block or the head here, which is interesting only because all this detailing from inside the head, this portion right here with the cams, is going to be completely hidden. So this is maybe the last time we see that, unless you pull the valve cover off. There's also another portion down here of this part right here that goes in. Actually, I should probably look at that. Is that the ERG valve? I'm curious. Doesn't actually say. Okay, so actually this is the left front wheel. So there is order. And then this actually, they don't need this hubcap just yet, but it's fine. So again, as mentioned, this is probably going to be the last time you see this camshaft detailing and how incredibly detailed this dual overhead cam looks, because once we put the valve cover on, you're not going to see this until you pull it off, really. Wow. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Falls in perfectly like that. And then we put 2 AM screws down here underneath. And it seems like they always give you 1 extra. So I have 3 here, but I only need 2. Yeah, if you ever want to see those cams, camshafts, you're literally going to need to disassemble the engine and then take the head off, and then take these 2 screws off to actually see that detailing that is getting just hidden right now. You guys know it's in there. I know it's in there. It wasn't extremely necessary to have that kind of level of detail in this head, but there it is. That's beautiful. And then last but not least, go ahead and put the screw away. We'll go ahead and put this little piece here, install that. Now from what it looks like, it goes right in this hole right here. Oops, do not want to drop that. So I just read the instructions again, or actually use Google Translate. See if we're going to focus in on that. This is the detailing that's crazy. This is a really small part, but you see how it's kind of a semicircle? It's flat right here and round over here. You kind of see that in the video. See if you see it that way. There. Apparently, you orient this flat side to the left. So even in this detailing, you're putting the flat side of this to the left. Boom. Another piece of the head complete. And again, this head is like aluminum or metal. This valve cover gaskets were plastic, and obviously the camshafts are plastic too as well. The crazy Toyota branding on the oil filter cap or filler cap. That's so cool. Now that is really coming along. I love it. Okay, guys, this concludes part 3 of the DeAgostini Toyota Trueno AE86 model kit 1/8 scale that we're working on right now. Again, finished the tire, got the head all sorted out, put some camshafts in. This is a really cool part. As I say that about a lot of these parts, but I do think that figuring out that this wheel is like aluminum, literally, right? And then the head has a nice heft to it, really is going to show the quality of this model, but also the weight. That's one thing I wasn't really factoring in. When I saw the hood was metal last time, and now the actual head is metal, and the rims are metal too as well, it really shows the quality of this model kit. And especially when it comes down to something that you're not even going to see anymore. You know, the level of detail in those camshafts, the dual overhead cams, camshafts in the head itself. You're never going to see those again. It's literally in the head, and unless you take those 2 screws out, it's just going to be in there. It's the detailing that only the builders and maybe people who watch this video know. You're not going to see that in a lot of model kits, especially unless you're literally building scale engines, right? Yeah, so that's part 3. I'm looking forward to part 2. I hope I see you guys there. But thanks a lot again for joining. If you like this video, please give me a like or a subscribe. It really would help the channel grow, and also gives me some feedback on the success of these videos. I'm going to do them regardless. But thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you guys in part 4.